Welcome to At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
And this week, it's That Darn Cat from 1965.
It sure is.
He can smile and purr at a pretty her till she don't know where she's at. Nose like a geiger, oh what a tiger is that darn cat. He's
I am really curious what you thought about this movie. Kind of at the edge of my seat. I'm actually sitting back in my seat, but
You're sitting
metaphorically, theoretically, I'm at the edge of my seat.
Just because you want to know what I think about this movie?
Yeah.
What do you think about this movie?
I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
I loved it.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It was great. I thought so.
So sometimes when we're watching these movies, you lean forward, and sometimes that means you're bored, and you were doing that a lot, and so I was like, oh.
I was leaning forward to take notes, though. There was a lot happening in this movie.
You know what? There was a lot happening in this movie, and not in a bad way.
Yeah, not in the weird way, where there was a lot happening in G-Force, and it was terrifying.
No, there was a lot happening. The story there was a lot in it. And so I've definitely seen the newer one of this, because as the story was unfolding, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember this. And
I was horrified to find out that there was a newer version of this.
Yeah, I've definitely seen the newer one, and it does have Christina Ricci playing Patty.
That's awful. That's criminal.
So you have not seen this, I take it.
No, you haven't seen this either.
No, but I mean,
I guess you have a history with the story.
Yeah. Let me read the synopsis really quick, get that out of the way, because the synopsis is pretty great. That Darn Cat from 1956. Police/cop, family, animals and nature, comedy. When the irrepressible and always hungry DC, Darn Cat, turns up with a wristwatch for a collar, it becomes a tip-off to an unsolved robbery and kidnapping. You don't know who's tailing who as nosy neighbors, jealous boyfriends, and a highly allergic FBI agent play a game of cat and mouse to crack the baffling case.
Yeah. That's close.
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I really like that they included the nosy neighbors, because that was my favorite thing about this movie was those neighbors.
They were pretty funny. I mean, to be honest.
Are you kidding me? They were incredible. The dude was hilarious.
Yeah, he was just constantly ragging on his wife.
Well, she was being crazy. She was like, there's 3 men going into a room. But the director, I mean, he is like
Mr. Disney. He's like the one person who didn't just direct one TV show and then direct a Disney movie.
I mean, we can't forget his most wonderful work of The Monkey's Uncle.
Yeah, The Monkey's Uncle. And it's weird because this is right after that. How are these two movies made by the same person? Company?
I can kind of see it.
Well, I can see it in the direction, but the direction in The Monkey's Uncle wasn't the problem. It had 2 stories. That was the problem with The Monkey's Uncle.
Well, and it definitely felt from what I remember, Mary Poppins, it kind of has the same.
So, and there's tons of people in this that were in a whole bunch of Disney movies at this time. Not to mention Bullwhip Griffin, which is amazing. And he was amazing in this movie.
Roddy McDowall.
Yeah.
As creepy Bullwhip Griffin.
As creepy jerkwad Bullwhip Griffin.
Mama's boy Bullwhip Griffin. Don't forget that part.
That's the thing, though, is he wasn't playing Bullwhip. He was just playing amazing. He's just good, I think, maybe in whatever he's in.
Yeah, he definitely steals the show a little bit. Every scene he was in, he was really notable.
Yeah.
So Haley Mills, I mean, anybody that knows Disney at all, immediately they're like, oh, Parent Trap, original Parent Trap. She's the twin.
And she's Pollyanna, whatever that is.
Yeah, but Parent Trap is her biggest thing.
But she's incredible in this.
Oh yeah, she's the best part of this movie. Aside from the cat is the best part. But
I just wish it wasn't such an ugly cat. I hate Siamese cats.
No, I love Siamese cats. They're so handsome and they're so smart. The fact that they portrayed him as a super smart cat, that's actually pretty realistic. Siamese cats are notoriously very intelligent.
And he was very mean.
Oh my god, no, I loved the cat. He was awesome.
And then Dean Jones, he's in a bunch of Herbie movies.
Is he? Okay, I didn't read into. I just wrote down his name.
I read into everybody's thing. He's in a bunch of Herbie movies and Beethoven somehow, which is not a Disney movie.
So have you seen that?
like when it came out.
But do you remember the mean, like, bad doctor guy who, like, takes Beethoven away? That's him.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's a voice in a whole bunch of Disney stuff too. Like his voice to me like registered right away. Like I recognized him.
So I recognized the neighbor lady, Elsa Lancaster. Her voice is super recognizable. And
Who is she?
She was the nosy neighbor.
No. Who else was she?
She's in Mary Poppins.
Okay.
She's I'm pretty sure she voices a character in the animated Robin Hood. She voices, I believe, a character in 101 Dalmatians. Like, her voice is super recognizable.
She's big into it too. So, and the girl that plays Ingrid, Dorothy Provence, was in Mad World.
I haven't seen that.
Neither have I, but it's a very famous movie. And The Great Race, which, same thing, I haven't seen, but I know it's a big movie.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely...
And everybody that we're mentioning worked until they died. Like, these people acted in stuff, whether it was TV or movies, forever.
Well, they were really good. Even, I didn't write down his name, but the stupid kid that played Canoe, which I really... Oh, my God. He was the worst. But
he really was.
But he did a really good job playing that character.
Being the worst, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was the guy, and they made a special mention of him in the credits at the beginning. I kind of noted.
Was he one of the villains?
No, he was the jeweler guy.
Oh, yeah, no, he's in Mary Poppins, too. And he's the voice of the Mad Hatter. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, his voice is so instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
And I think he was somebody, he's in another one of the live action movies, too, as something. I don't remember. I didn't write that part down.
Mary Poppins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he plays Poppins. Not a professor, but there's like a whole song sequence that he's in. Yeah, no, his voice is very recognizable. Now, this whole movie had a lot of really great, acting, and just, it was great.
And it paid off. I mean, if there's only one complaint about this movie, it was just a touch too long.
It was a little long, and there was a few scenes in the middle that kind of dragged a little bit, but
and all along, there's a whole bunch of things they could have cut 30 seconds out of. They could have cut 30 seconds out of the intro, 30 seconds out of each one of the chase scenes, and you would have had a tighter movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's kind of the style of these old movies, but I just thought it was very charming, I think is the word I could put.
Charming. It's so good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And the story was really interesting and
well, what other story are you gonna have? I mean, there's holes, but what other story are you gonna have that's like
What do you mean there's holes?
We'll get to it.
The movie holes or plot holes?
Plot holes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I was surprised, just going back to the director really quick, that he did so many, because he did the original Shaggy Dog too.
Shaggy DA.
Oh, I thought it said Shaggy Dog.
Oh, maybe it's
He
both.
probably did both.
He probably did both.
But he did a lot of the classic Disney.
He did the original Monkey's Uncle, the Merlin movie.
The Misadventures of Merlin Jones or whatever, that is also on our list. Because and you say you don't really see the Monkey's Uncle, but it has a style.
No, I can see it. I'm just saying, quality of the movie wise, I can't believe it.
And real quick, I don't want to. So, you know what actually was one of my favorite things about this movie? The costumes.
Everybody was dressed to the nines.
I want a 60s skirt suit so bad now. I really want one of those.
Do you want Ingrid's AstroTurf suit?
AstroTurf? Wait, which one was that?
Oh my God. There was one that looked like it was legitimately made out of AstroTurf.
Oh, towards the end, yeah, and it had a silver brooch in the middle of it. No, I want the red one from the beginning. That one, and it reminded me of Tina, what's her face, from Witch Mountain.
Oh yeah, her power suit, yeah, the one where she's going to the FBI office, absolutely. Yeah. It does remind me of that, exactly. I thought about the same thing as soon as I saw her sit down there. I was like, wait a minute, did they use this 20 years later?
But no, I really want a skirt power suit from the 60s. I was thinking, and I really liked the costumes. I don't know why, that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, I agree. It did to me as well, which is unusual for me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think that would be something you would really pay attention to.
No, but everybody was dressed incredibly in this movie.
Well, I think probably back then people did dress incredibly.
Even the way Canoe was dressed, I was like, dang.
I really hated his character.
So did I.
He's such a dingus.
So pushy.
Oh, God. Well, kind of all the dudes in this movie were kind of pushy, but whatever.
Well, except for Kelso. Kelso wasn't pushy at all. Except for in doing his job. He wasn't pushing himself onto a woman.
Yeah.
Although, in 1965, that was considered charming.
Yeah, but it wasn't even the pushing onto women. It was like, I'm going to push myself into your house. Every dude was trying to get into this house. Like,
well, I mean, two young ladies and their parents are at home. Who's not trying to knock that door down?
Well, and there was no really concept of how old they actually were. Because they kept saying, oh, don't you look young? But she wasn't, like, school age.
I agree. And she didn't look school age. But
she was probably, like, 19, 18.
But I couldn't tell if that was because...
Or maybe it was summer vacation.
I'm sure in the old days, her face looked fine. But in HD, you could see everything. And it maybe made her look a little older.
Well, sure. I mean, she's definitely probably older than her character's supposed to be. But
No, I know. But I mean, in HD, you could see, like, all the blackheads. Like,
you
wouldn't have been able to see that in 1965.
Yeah, you see all of that.
Or 1995. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think it's time to walk through it.
All right. So the movie opens and isn't the first... So it has a very traditional opening because it has the song, the That Darn Cat theme song.
Well, first it's like a super long jazz intro of the cat running around town.
That's what I mean. As the song is playing, that's what he's doing.
And he's causing chaos citywide.
It starts off right away with a stupid bulldog, which is awesome because I love any time that bulldogs are stupid because they are stupid. I don't really like them that much.
Yeah, it tricks the bulldog.
Yeah. And again, based on a book.
Oh, I didn't
know. It's based on Undercover Cat. That's the name of the book that it was based on.
Seriously?
Yeah. So I think that they just literally took books for all of these movies.
I think they just ripped off like a bunch of old IP and just made money off of it.
It's kind of smart. But...
Yeah, it's a good business model, clearly.
And the song was written by the Sherman Brothers, who they've written a ton of songs.
They wrote the Monkey's Uncle song, and the Beach Boys played it.
Yeah. They wrote a bunch of theme park songs. Like they write. I think they wrote "It's a Small World." Like they've written tons of songs for Disney. Like they're Disney's go-to songwriters. The
song was sung by Bobby Darin, who's some 60s singer dude.
50s, 60s?
50s, 60s, something like that.
Because I don't know if this is... I think this is supposed to take place in, like, actual time. It came out in 65. It's probably supposed to take place in the early 60s.
Based on Bullwhip's amazing Mercedes.
That was pretty sweet.
Definitely the 60s.
Well, but I actually kind of liked Canoe's car, too.
Oh, yeah, that old Woody wagon.
Yeah,
but I mean...
Sweet.
That Mercedes that Bullwhip driving is probably worth like $2 million now.
Correct, sir.
Well, sure, yeah.
Everything was cool as hell.
Obviously. The cat, like, walks by a bunch of newspaper articles that kind of tell you, like, what's...
Well, that's when he's following the criminal home, because the criminal has salmon in his sack.
That looked amazing.
Oh, yeah. Meat's changed. That's all I can say.
Meat really, probably. Because that was, like... some pink salmon. Like
dark, yeah. It just looked good. And we live in the Pacific Northwest. Like, we get the best salmon.
Mm-hmm. But you don't know that he's the bad guy at first, and
I thought he was the butcher at first.
Well, and
because it looked weird.
I thought he wasn't anybody. I thought that the cat was gonna like cut the bag and the salmon was gonna fall out and he was gonna take the salmon and he was gonna turn around and go, "That darn cat," and shake his fist. But no, he like. And I didn't really get it at first because the dude opens the apartment, sees like the landlord lady sitting there and closes it like he doesn't want her to see him, and then goes up the stairs. And I thought, oh, maybe he like is late on rent or something.
Right.
Like, but they did a pretty good job with the intro. I feel like because then once he goes upstairs and he starts talking to the other guy, then it's revealed that they're the bank robbers and they've kidnapped this bank teller, Miss Miller. Why did he keep calling her moms? Like, I thought it was funny, but...
I mean, she did look like it. She was definitely old.
Yeah.
Clearly not a mom or married.
No, but he, like, and the one villain... So it was... Their names were... The guy that was at the butcher shop initially, his name is Iggy.
Yeah, I never took down the names, but he's Iggy. I don't know the other guy's name, though. The square-headed guy.
Dan. His name is Dan.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
Well, shut up, will you? Shut up, sure. 2 bank robbers, staged daring, daylight, hold up.
Hey, how about that, huh?
2 armed men wearing Halloween masks robbed the North Valley Bank early today.
But Dan's like the very traditional, like, oh, he's a wise guy.
Yeah, I liked Dan's character.
Like he has a really deep voice, like Very New York.
Very square jawed.
Lots of hair gel.
That wasn't gel. That's called pomade, girl.
Okay, well.
Or grease. Grooming clean.
Whatever. Grease. Lots of grease. He's got a big old nose, like.
Big old jaw. Big old teeth.
Yeah, he just looks like what you would picture like an old timey bank robber.
And he's like, no, we can't kill her, see? And the other guy's like the blonde psychopath. Well, like, he wants to like rape and kill the lady.
I mean, I don't know about raping, but he definitely...
Totally. It's implied, but not said.
Sure.
He's a creep.
Yeah, no, he definitely was a creep, because he keeps talking about wanting to kill her, and maybe, like... So, theory time. So, the Dan guy, maybe he keeps calling her mom, because,
he looks like
her mom, and that's why he didn't want to kill her, because he's like, I can't kill my mom. Like, maybe...
That's a good theory. I enjoy that theory. That's a very solid theory.
Because they, you know...
And that's why he had her cook for him.
Oh, yeah. He was like, get in the kitchen and cook. And he's like, she's been a pretty good girl. And like, starts stroking her chin. Ugh. Oh, that was the other thing. Why did the money look super fake? Is that how money...
No, it just looked fake. I just think they did a bad job producing that. They just got like the fakest looking Monopoly money in the world.
Some of it was red. Purple. It wasn't even like...
But it looked like it was made out of paper. Not cloth paper. Like, it just looked super fake. But there was a lot of threatening and gun violence, like, right there at the beginning.
Well, yeah, because they were like... and then
But the cat comes in with this whole time. We've totally skipped over the fact that the cat's in there. And the psychopathic guy, of course, is like, oh, I love cats. And the other guy's like, get that thing the f*** out of here.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I'm lucky with cats. I love cats. So they're talking in the living room. And then Miss Miller, who's supposed to be cooking, she does something super f***ing smart.
Yeah.
She takes the collar off the cat and hides it in her sweater. But then she takes her wristwatch and starts carving help in the back of it and puts it on the cat. But she doesn't get all the way through because she gets interrupted.
Yeah, she gets the hell.
Which nobody made the comment like, oh, maybe somebody was just trying to write hell, like a joke.
Or maybe that's somebody's initials, like Holga Edna Lohman.
Well, Patty's super smart, so she figured it out. But
of course.
But yeah, and then she lets the cat out, and of course they freak out because that means she opened the door.
Like, we're gonna kill you. Blah, blah. Blah, and there's like more guns flipping out. Like, I got 12 bullets in here. I'll put every single one of them in you. You hear?
Oh yeah, it's like they move a lot faster than you.
Yeah,
it did have a lot of good. The writing was really good too.
Yeah,
the lines that were kind of cheesy were not too cheesy. Like they were fit. Really
delivered right for a Disney movie. And so now we cut to Patty.
And Canoe, right?
Yeah.
Because he goes in the house and the cat follows in the house.
And the lady's like, look at that whore.
Yeah, the neighbor lady.
And inexplicably, Patty has an English accent.
Okay, so I knew that halfway through the movie. I was like, oh, why does she have an English accent? Like, I didn't register at the beginning for some reason.
Right away I was like, wait a minute, why does she have an English accent?
Well, and then they said their parents were overseas, and I thought, like, oh, maybe they're not from here.
Until Ingrid shows up and she's American.
No, I know, right.
Yeah.
But I was...
And Bullwhip is English, too. It's like they just didn't care.
Well, remember when we watched Bullwhip Griffin, we were like, why does he have an English accent?
That's true.
Maybe he's just like a total diva, and he's like, I would only do an English accent.
But it made sense there because he was supposed to be a butler, so maybe he was trying to be proper. Maybe that was like the thing of the time.
Yeah, whatever.
In this movie, it's inexplicable. He's a lawyer.
Yeah. So yeah, his name is Canoe. What the f***? Like, what kind of a name is that?
I thought that was his surfer nickname because that's what they call it when they paddle out, like it's canoeing out.
Oh, maybe.
I immediately thought.
I hate it. I hate him. Because he's just like he's like just going in there eating all their food and like.
I was impressed. I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of me, like just going into people's houses in high school and chowing down kitchen privileges and like. All.
Are they boyfriend-girlfriend? Like, it wasn't really clear, but I think they are together.
I think he was just trying to hit it, kinda, and he was totally friend-zoned. Comments about him later on that just suggests he's, like, permanently friend-zoned. And the last thing she says to him at the end of the movie still tells me that he's permanently friend-zoned.
What did she say to him?
At the very end, she's like, "Oh, you're maturing. Why don't you come and make some kind of weird sandwich and tell me all about it?"
Oh, right, yeah.
So she's like, still like, "Come on in, but you're still in the friend zone. Come make some kind of weird sandwich. Not, I'm going to make you some kind of weird sandwich. You come make some kind of weird sandwich and tell me all about it. You entertain me."
Fair enough. But and then we do learn the cat's name is DC at this point.
Which is the other thing that drives me crazy, because it's a horrible name for the cat. But it makes sense. DC! It's like, come on.
I don't know.
Give the cat a name.
Yeah, Canoe's obsessed with surfing, and there was some shot in here where the camera was pointed at him. He has a really gross nose. Like, it was pointed, where his nose was, up. And
he does, and so does Haley Mills. Haley Mills has a really funky nose with, lots of thickness and tiny nostrils. It's gross.
Do you like fat nostrils? Do you prefer a big old fat nostril?
I like a nostril that can breathe. I shouldn't be able to suffocate you with a toothpick.
Oh, this is why I hate him. So she goes to bed. He's done eating his sandwich, and he scoots the crumbs under the couch. He's such a dickhole.
Perfectly normal, perfectly healthy 19-year-old behavior.
I hate him. He just smooshes the crumbs under the couch.
I would have done the exact same thing.
No, I hate him. He's the worst. I hate him.
And the cat is throughout this. At this point, you just think the cat is a real foodie. Because the cat's all over him to eat stuff. He was all over the other dude to eat stuff. That cat just wants to eat.
Well, and that's why his whole route going out at night is going to different places to eat. That's his whole thing. And then don't we cut back to outside and Gregory is dropping off Ingrid, right?
Ingrid, yeah.
And at first it seemed like they were dating, but then it's clear that it's just a carpool situation. And
he's cornering her up against the door and talking about his duck.
And his mom. And I'm like, you're an aggressive motherfucker. What?
But then, and he's English too, which makes no sense. And then he goes in for the kiss at the end, and she goes out to kiss with her lips, which would have been smart for him. And he kisses her on the forehead.
Yeah. The talking about the mom, that was a real turnoff. That was...
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's a mama's boy.
Well, he just kept going. Oh, and that was the whole thing. Is he kept going on about the duck? You're going to come to dinner, and mom's going to cook the duck that's been hanging for 2 days or brining for 2 days.
Right, and that's something as a hunter you would be proud of.
Oh yeah, because he stood in the duck blind for a whole day or something.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Got one stinking duck.
Which is pretty bad.
Well, it's a bad day of hunting, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then doesn't the cat go back out at this point? Or is there more?
Yeah, because the cat goes out and stills Bullwhip's duck. Gregory is just hilariously angry.
Or doesn't he fall in the mud? Is that this part?
Yeah, he falls in the mud. He's all over himself, and he's just pissed because that's his prize single duck he got from hunting that day. Breaks into the house, not with Ingrid down there, but with Patty down there.
Mm-hmm. He's got my duck.
What duck?
Don't you dare pretend with me. Now, I saw him come in here with it.
You saw who come in?
Patricia Randall, I have had just about all I can take. That rotten cat of yours, he molests my prize albino fantails. Crawls all over my car every time I wash it with his muddy paws. He digs up my mother's tulip bulbs. He's driven my dog right to the brink of a nervous breakdown.
Oh, you mean DC. Well, I'm sorry, Gregory, but actually he isn't my cat. He isn't anybody's cat.
What are you talking about? He lives here, doesn't he?
Well, of course, but don't you see? You don't own someone like DC. He's family.
And Patty's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? And then there's the cat with the duck.
So she tries to get it away from the cat, and the cat's tug-of-warring the duck.
Yeah, the cat will not let it go.
But she gets it away, but it kind of breaks, so she gives it to him.
It rips off one of the wings, and he's all mad and runs off. And then he also threatens to kill DC if he finds him again. He's like, I'm going to shoot him with my shotgun. Then...
Well, no, he says, I'm going to give him something full of buckshot. And he's like, 9 times if I have to.
Yeah, kill him with a shotgun, 9 times if he has to get all 9 lanes.
I liked that line. That was good.
It was a good line. And then Ingrid and Patty, this is where they argue about men, and this is where you really get to see them as sisters.
Ingrid it's just a sign, it's so on the times. She's teasing her hair, which now, that is so bad for your hair. It will cause almost immediate split ends. But it
looked like she had nice hair. I mean,
but that's what they did back then. Yeah. They did that, but it's really bad for your hair. Because you're essentially back combing it, so you're breaking the strands.
Oh, yeah, that actually makes sense.
And then the other thing that bothered me in this scene is she was giving, people think, oh, just give the cat milk. Well, you shouldn't give cats milk or cream because it'll give them a skin disorder. Like, it's not a thing.
Well, there you
Sorry.
go.
Clearly I'm a cat person. But, no, you shouldn't give cats milk or cream. It's bad for them. It's not good. But...
And then, at this point, Hattie finally finds the watch.
Mm-hmm.
Figures out the whole help scene.
Well, really quickly. She doesn't even, like, think it's something else. She's like, well, somebody was trying to write help. Which...
I mean, it makes sense if you put it on a cat.
That's true, yeah.
Like, in the context, it makes a lot of sense, especially then.
But immediately she's like, oh, it's the lady that was kidnapped. Like, she makes that connection immediately.
Also makes a lot of sense, because people didn't go missing, you know? You heard about it if somebody was missing.
Well, and I don't know that this was a huge... Were they in a specific city, or was it just, like, a small town? Well, they had an FBI office, so it had to be a pretty big city. Was it New York?
I don't think it was... No, it was L.A.
Oh, it was L.A. Oh, you're right. It was L.A.
Yeah,
okay.
It's L.A. Ingrid forbids Patty from going to the police and instead goes to the FBI.
Yeah, she's like, she didn't say anything about the FBI. I'm like, oh, you're so clever, Patty. But she is. She's pretty smart. And this part was hilarious. And, like, that was the only thing that was a little strange is she's immediately checking out Kelso. She sees him, the agent. And I thought she was going to try to have, like, a romantic situation with him, but it ends up going a different direction later. So, and it wasn't a thing, so I don't know. But
she never really gave it up, like, from then on. Like, it seemed like she was trying to hit it all the way until the end.
Yeah, no, immediately she was like, she tells the receptionist as he walks by, oh, he's got a handsome face, doesn't he? And the receptionist is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
okay.
Of course.
She just, like... goes back, but does the thing that they do all the time in movies and TV where she waits till the receptionist isn't looking and then walks back in the back room.
Yeah, she just like, slips past reception in an FBI building, which now would be impossible, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine back then.
Yeah.
And she, like, unbuttons her jacket. You know, she's clearly trying to, like, get it.
Well, she just wants to be less frumpy than the buttoned-up self.
Which, I mean... whatever, it looks pretty much the same, but...
It's not like she had any cleavage going on.
Yeah, like, it was the days of pointy tits. Like, it's, you know, like, that's how they made the bras back then. They were, like, pointy. And then, so she immediately goes and starts talking to him, and, like, he happens to be the agent on the case, like, right, okay.
Well, no, I think that made him the agent on the case. Because he was on the Chooch case or whatever before.
The Chooch case?
Or whatever it was. He was on a different case.
Oh, okay.
But he just started taking her statement because she was there.
Right. And she goes about this statement in, like, the most backwards girl way possible.
Oh, of course.
She's talking about her cat and how he goes out at night. No, and this person and that person. No, he eats a lot. And then he's like, no. And then she's like, what about bank robbers and hostages? And he's like, okay, I'll take you seriously. And then he tells his boss, and his boss tells him he has to survey the cat.
Yeah, he has to tail the cat. Surveil the cat, yeah. So...
And he doesn't like cats.
Well, he's allergic to cats. It's not that he doesn't like them. He's allergic to... He can't say the word cat. Every time he says the word cat, he sneezes.
That would be so terrible. I would hate it. I love cats so much. I would hate it.
But then the neighbor, so yeah, he has to do that. And the neighbor sees Kelso going into the house with Patty, and she starts freaking out again.
Oh my God, I loved every...
You leave that people alone. I disagree with everything you have to say, woman.
I loved every scene with the two of them.
Yeah, they were great.
Like, it was such, like, you could have cut that out completely. And then, I'm just saying, like, it didn't really have any bearing on the story as a whole, but it was just one of those, like, super, like, it made the movie better.
It was a perfect C story.
No, it was incredible.
It really was.
Because he just wants to listen to his radio and just whatever.
And chill out, and she wants to look out the windows and be scandalous and crazy.
Yeah, and
it's hilarious.
Oh my God, that one was so good.
So then we get inside.
Oh, that's
Kelso's
right.
really allergic to cats, and the cat just tries to him up.
Well, yeah, because he has to take a picture of the cat. He has to take, like, paw prints of the cat, do all this stuff, and the cat is just not having it.
And he gets scratched, and he's like, oh, it's no problem. It's probably just an artery.
Yeah, that was really funny.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, they had a lot of really well-delivered lines in this movie.
And this whole part was probably a little bit too long with the cat just, like, meowing and growling.
It was a little long. But, I mean, they did a good job of portraying, like, if a cat is under the bed, the cat doesn't want to be brought out, but they pulled the cat out, so of course the cat's going to freak out. Like,
yeah, you can't pull a cat out.
You have to understand how cats work.
Yeah.
And, like, the part where she was trying to get him to stand up on the bed, and he was just like, no, and, like, laying down. I loved that part so much.
It's if any cat owners know that that's, like, to a T for a cat.
But then she got the thing, and she was, like, playing with the string, got him to go up so he could take a picture of him. But then they have to go in the bathroom because they're going to try to get a paw print. And then Canoe comes to the door. And she's like, oh, he won't stop and blah, blah. And he won't go away and blah, blah.
Yeah, because he's beating on the door, like, super hard.
Yeah,
like,
he's the
boom,
worst.
Boom, 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 boom. And she goes down there with, like, a little thing over her head, like, oh, I'm sick.
And I'm so weak as she's
and
like...
he's, like, pushing the door, like, pushing it down. Like, but in all fairness, he's, like, always just allowed to walk in. She is acting funny.
Well, yeah, she was acting funny, but as soon as she's
Because if you remember, earlier on, he's been coming around there since he was a little kid.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But as soon as she's like, no, you need to leave, you gotta go.
That's just not how it was.
You gotta go.
Not how it was.
I know. But then, of course, as soon as she gets back upstairs...
And she sees her flip off her robe on the way up the stairs.
Yeah, he sees her.
Into her red outfit that you like so much.
Oh my god, I love that outfit. But he's really suspicious. But he, of course, as soon as she gets back up there, there's cat paw prints, like, everywhere.
Yeah, and all over Kelso, and all over all those hosieries and whatnot that were hanging in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Except for on the paper. But then, and it was funny because as he was about to do this, I was like, oh, just like stick the paper on your head. Because there was like a perfect paw print in ink, and that's what he did. And he got a perfect paw print. Which I don't really know why he needed paw prints.
Because it's the FBI. They have to have the prints and all that stuff. Like,
I guess. I don't know.
It's like, well, I guess I'll put the thumb, but I mean, there's...
And then it cuts to him directing his team where to follow the cat, right? Like, telling him about the cat?
Yeah. All of a sudden, he has a whole team of people.
Which seems suspect. But I guess if it's a high-profile case like this...
I guess, yeah. Like, a whole briefing room full of people. He gives them the lowdown. And then we cut back to the landlady. Stops the Iggy in the hallway and is like, I heard a woman up there. You owe me extra money. Blah, 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 blah. And, like, the dude's too cheap to just give her $20. Just shut her the F up. Mm-hmm. And, I mean...
And when he gets upstairs, then they're debating about where they're going to dump her body. So, like, they're planning on killing her. Like, that's what they're planning on doing.
Well, clearly, even though, at this point, Dan is still a little, like, I don't know, maybe, you know...
Yeah, and Iggy's like, let's kill her now. And, like, I found a dumpster. Like, let's go dump her in there.
2 blocks away, like, okay, genius, dude. That's a great plan. Dump the chick. You just tried to mislead the cops that you were going, like, north out of town, and you're going to dump the chick 2 blocks away? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Good plan.
Can't she hear them talking about this at this point?
No? I don't think it... I think here she maybe kind of heard it, but I think she heard Dan defending her and saying we can't kill her still.
Right.
Yeah.
But it goes back to Patty's house... And she was still hitting on him at this point because she was like, oh, no, you have a young-looking body or something like that.
She was still hitting on him until the very end.
Kind of. So they're in the room, and they're, like, plotting out, like, they have a map with all the tax of all the people. And this part with the neighbor was, like, my favorite part of her.
With her with the fishing pole.
Oh, I completely forgot about this until I just read my note. Where she takes her husband's radio and she tries to fish it up so she
I think that's a hearing aid or something. Because it's, like, magnifying the sound.
You're right. It is a hearing aid.
Yeah, it's an old school hearing aid.
And she, like, tries to fish it up to hear what they're saying. And I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah, and she's, like, trying, and he comes out. And just whacks her, kind of, and gets it down. He's like, get the f*** in the house, woman. What are you doing? You mind your own business. Give me back my stuff.
The fact that she put it on a fishing pole and was trying to, like, fish it up. I don't know.
Hell, that was genius.
It was really funny.
She's very smart.
And they're waiting for the cat to go out.
And she's like, act casual. The cat understands almost everything.
Which they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Come on. I do like their map, though. The map that he had going on with the little pins with the labels of the guys. But that was pretty good. Love Siamese cats.
And then the cat finally goes out. And then it's cat surveillance time. And this one also...
It was a little long.
It took a really long time. It was just... Oh, cat all around this corner. Okay, you move to this corner, dude. Okay, cat's going this way. Okay, you move over here.
Well, and then, like, so he does go to the apartment first, where the bad guys are, and they're just like, oh, this could be it, but then he goes away, so they don't really think anything of it.
They go away because the lady, like, went and looked out the window, and the dude turned off the light, and that, when he turned off the light, the cat turned around.
Oh, I missed that.
Because the cat knew it wasn't going to get any food once the light turned off.
I missed that part, but okay. And so, yeah, it goes and follows them, shenanigans, but then it leads them right back to the house, and they're like, oh, I forgot what this house looked like. That part was kind of silly.
It actually kind of made sense to me. Like, if you're getting dragged all over in circles following a cat, you might forget.
And
this is where the AstroTurf suit on Ingrid comes in.
Oh, is it? Because this is the next day?
Mm-hmm. No, I think this is...
Or no, this is where she barges in and is like, get out of my room! Right?
No. Yeah, it's gotta be.
I don't remember where her suit came in.
Yeah, no, this is it. No, it's the next day. It's the next day.
Okay, because it's the next... Yeah, I was like, OMG, this neighbor.
Yeah,
and
she's about to go to work with her... We totally skipped over her flipping out on everybody about them being in her room.
Well, that's because that was earlier.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over that somehow. She comes home...
Ingrid comes home.
Yeah, Ingrid comes home, like, during the surveillance... And she's just pissed that there's people in her bedroom.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like, you guys get out of here.
And he's just like, would you guys shut the f*** up? I'm trying to do this. Stop your... I think he said something about stop your clucking or some women term like that.
Yeah. So he goes back in one more night with Kat. He can bug it.
What? Yeah, which you should have done that in the first place. Like, that would be so much easier than getting all these other people involved.
You would think, but this is like exploratory.
Yeah. And Ingrid is still like, I don't like this. And she's like, I'm going to go sleep in parents' room. And she's like, no, this is so awesome. Don't you want to see your government tax dollars at work?
Well, that was to see the caller working on Ingrid. And there's like this stupid part where Ingrid is talking into the caller while she's locked in the closet. And Kelso hears it and is like, thinks it's the cat at first talking to him, like, let's go, come on, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And then he figures out it's Ingrid and goes, lets her out of the closet.
Oh, because Patty had to go to the movies with...
Yeah, he's like, you get out of here and go with Canoe to the movie. That'll help me the most.
Yeah, because he's like, I can't handle you. Get out of here. Like, stupid little girl. I don't know why I wrote here, OMG, I love the neighbors, but something happened when the cat went out and he was following the cat. I don't know what. Something happened with the neighbors. Really?
It did. But that's the thing. That was the thing about this movie, is there was so much to it. Like,
yeah,
what we cover is not gonna ever cover the whole movie.
No, but so he's following the cat. The cat has the bug in the collar, and the cat goes into the drive-in. Yeah, where
and this scene is just wackadoodle.
Oh my god, this scene is amazing. Because the cat is like going in and Kelso, the agent, is like following him, and the guys are like, hey, you can't go in there without a car.
Even though he paid.
Which is like, yeah. I don't know exactly what the order of events is, but the cat like jumps in Canoe's car, and then Kelso is like talking to Patty, and he's like, get the cat out of there.
Yeah.
And so she gets the cat out, but then there's all these interactions with Kelso and the like movie theater manager.
Where he's like, I'm the health inspector.
He's like, oh.
There's a cat over there. See that cat?
And this part, actually, I think there was a couple parts that maybe...
And the manager or owner guy was just like, no, I'm not having it. And he's like chasing him around.
Yeah, and he kept getting, like, milkshakes dropped on him.
Yeah, by the bellhop guy. Like, kept getting, like, the wackadoodle, like, ooh. It was like in a cartoon. You pass him on one side, somebody else passes him on the other side, and then he's like, whoo, whoo. He turns around and smashes into the owner guy, like...
The cat, like, goes up in front of the projector and is, like, chasing a butterfly or something.
A moth.
And then it's, like, on the screen, so all the people start honking. And that part was really funny, actually.
Yeah, it was. Because then the helper guy, like, chases the cat and starts jumping across all the top of the cars to chase the cat.
Okay. And as soon as he started doing that, I was like, oh, he's either going to fall through a soft shell top of a car or he's going to fall through a sunroof. And sure enough, he falls through a sunroof.
No, it was a convertible with the top off. Okay, it was a bug.
Whatever.
And when he falls into the backseat of the bug, and the two people in the front seat jump up over the top of the bug and fall back in. And
that was so funny. That whole scene was actually really funny.
It really was. It was really good. And there was like the whole pipe humor with Canoe trying to light his pipe and Patty getting mad because she doesn't like the smell of matches, but she likes the smell of pipe smoke. But Canoe couldn't get that thing pumping. He couldn't get it lit.
Yeah.
And so he put it out on the manager guy's head.
Yeah, and then as soon as Patty sees... Oh, God, yeah. And then as soon as Patty sees Kelso and the cat leave, she's like, okay, let's go home.
Yeah, take me home now. And even though before she was like, oh, I really like this movie. This is a good movie. And Kid was like, no, this movie's stupid. And
yeah,
they just go back and forth.
The surfing movies are stupid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My smoking bother you?
I love the smell of pipe tobacco. It's just the fumes from all those matches. Can't you keep it lit?
All right. Forget it.
And then the cat goes to
house.
Gregory's house and tries to get the pigeons, and Gregory freaks out and tries to shoot him and
shoots his own tire out.
Yeah, and then follows him all the way back to the house, and then he's like forcing his way up the stairs, and then I'm just like, what is with these dudes that just forcing their ways into this people's house?
They're men; they can do what they want.
God, I don't like it.
And he goes upstairs. Kelso's hiding in the closet after he calls in a false alarm.
Yeah, and then, Kelso comes out of the closet and he's like, oh, your cords are... Why doesn't he just say he's with the FBI? Why does he have to be secretive about it?
Because he's not supposed to tell you. You're not supposed to give away your
whatever.
After he steps on the cat and makes it go...
So then he goes back... Oh, no, Gregory goes back downstairs because he's like, you're going to have to find a new carpool.
And he kind of low-key calls her a whore at the same time. With just little words. And he's like, yeah, and you're going to have to find a new carpool.
And then Canoe is at the door, and then he just runs back to his car because he's scared of the gun. He's such a... This is where I wrote, why does Patty have a British accent?
It's funny that I got it right away and you waited.
Well, I knew it right away, but I didn't make note of it right away. And then also, Ingrid looks like the babysitter in Monkey Uncle. Do you remember the babysitter that came and was like,
no,
I'm
just
Jan.
The Ingrid to me looked really old in this movie. Kelso gets reassigned back to his chooch case or whatever it is, and Patty is just apoplectic that he's not going to continue on.
Well, yeah, because he's like, we need more evidence, and she's like, more evidence. So she gets all Patty-ish and decides she's going to take it into her own hands.
And this is where it's clear that Ingrid wants to bone up to Kelso, where she wants to back it up. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I must have looked so terrible in this whole situation. Good night, Mr. Kelso.
Well, yeah, they kept making googly eyes at each other the whole movie. So Patty is going to go look for more evidence, and she has stupid Canoe Gilligan motherfucker following her.
Well, she's not going to look for more evidence. She dreams of more evidence.
Well,
she
just happened to be right. So she goes to the jeweler, and that's where we meet our friend, the voice of the Mad Hatter, and she calls the FBI from the jeweler.
But Canoe is following her at this point, undercover, incognitus.
Yeah, I know, and he looks like Gilligan.
Pipe. Yeah, he does look a bit like... He looks like Gilligan and Inspector Gadget mixed together.
I can't.
He's very Inspector Gadget when he's incognito.
Yeah, but he's stupid.
So is Inspector Gadget.
So she calls the FBI and pretends to be the jeweler's niece or whatever.
Even though the jeweler really does not want her to.
Oh yeah, he's super nervous and paranoid.
And he's crazy flamboyant. He's like, oh no,
it's the FBI. So she does this whole story about how that's the watch they sold her, and so then the FBI director is super smart. So he calls back. He's like, I don't believe this. And then the jeweler guy's like, yeah, that's my niece from Mexico. Blah,
blah,
blah, blah.
From Mexico. Yeah, she sold it to her. Yeah, from Mexico.
So then they believe her. And then we go back to the apartment again with the thugs and Miss Miller. And I don't remember exactly what transpired, but she lit a fire in the window.
Oh, she definitely... This time she heard them talk about killing her Because he came in with the laundry bag, and the dude's like, yeah, do it in here. Which is insane, because the last scene with them, they're talking about the two people downstairs, who one's a cop, who doesn't sleep. Like, you would never fire the gun at her in there, even with the stupid pillow.
Yeah, and the fan, like, blows money everywhere, and it's, like, a whole thing.
Yeah, like, and it's, like, kind of a giveaway to the end.
Flapping the ears. What does that even mean? They use that expression a lot in this movie.
Yeah. And it's funny because she lights that fire, and it's like, oh, there's no smoke alarms back then. Like, nothing to give it away.
Yeah, I don't know what she was doing.
Well, no, she was smart to try and light that stuff on fire. She should have maybe tried to catch a little bit more stuff on fire.
She should have just run out the fucking door because they kept leaving her in the kitchen.
She should have lit the fire and ran out the door. That would have been the smart thing to do. But,
yeah.
You know, what are you going to do?
She's only a mom. I mean, moms.
Yeah, moms. What are you going to do?
So then all of the agents are in...
Wait. The landlady busts in the other door.
Oh, right.
I know there's somebody here. What's that goddamn smoke that I smell? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. And then a 20 magically flies off the ceiling fan and lands on her. And she's like, oh, this is the $20 you owe me for the sick lady in there. Okay, that's fine. And then Iggy pickpockets it right out of her as she's leaving. And he's well, at least I got the $20. And then that's when Dan's like, well, we can't kill her now. There's a bunch of people watching us. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So then...
Well, because that's where she tells them that her sister is staying with them. And her sister is like the jail wardeness or whatever.
Yeah. So then now we have the full-blown FBI raid.
Oh my god, okay.
There's like 20 people involved in this thing with DC.
Yeah, and so they're waiting, and then Patty answers the phone, and it's Canoe, and he's like, what'd you do today? And he's like interrogating her, and this is where I was like, I hate Canoe! ! That dude.
With his stalker call.
Oh, I hate him. But he's not exactly her boyfriend. But, so they're waiting for the cat to go out, and so, this is my favorite neighbor part of the whole movie. So the neighbor lady sees, so Kelso follows the cat, Patty follows Kelso, and then Canoe follows Patty. So the neighbor lady is like, I'm going to see what's going on, and you can stand here. And so she goes out, right?
You forget about one little important thing.
Okay,
that Patty tells on herself about telling about the jewel thing before this.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it kind of just gets glossed over, but she's like, oh.
I'm friends with his niece or whatever.
Yeah, and the guy's like, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and Ingrid is standing right there, and she could have been like, wait, what?
Did Kelso tell you this? But there was like a radio call right after that, and you glossed over it. And that's when she boned out. She was like, I'm out of here right now.
Yeah, you're right.
She told on herself, and that's what really got her to follow Kelso.
Right.
Canoe follows her. The old lady follows them. And then the old man calls the police on his wife. Says that there's a man impersonating a woman looking into windows. Go get... That is the best part.
And then immediately after that, the police come and they see her, jumping up on the fence, trying to
looking over, looking into houses.
And so this part was hilarious. It was a short scene, but they capture her and they give her this whole thing about... Oh, sir, if you're going to pull off a prank, or you might not want to dress in women's clothes, you don't have the face for it. Frisking her, thinking that she's a dude, and she's like...
She's frisking her, she's like, she's all ticklish.
That whole part, I just thought was so... I can't believe he called the police on his wife.
I can. That dude definitely was all about that life.
Oh my god, and then that part, and there's a whole long sequence. They're following the cat, and somehow Canoe ended up in a swimming pool.
Yeah, I think he lost track of them for a second. He jumped over this wall, onto a trampoline, into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
So he took a dive.
And so his shoes were all wet, and they were making, squeaky noises.
Well, no, they were making splishy noises of the water splishing out of his shoes, which... is like a 4-step process, not a 29-step process.
Yeah, this was a long scene.
Yeah.
But it's basically they just keep going back and forth with all this, them following them, and they get turned around, and the cat turns around, and this whole thing. But
the cat turns around because he realizes he's being followed, which is hilarious.
Right, and as they turn around, like, Canoe is, like, up against the garage with his tan Robert Stack coat, and then this part was really funny. Somebody comes out of the garage, and he gets, like, stuck up in the garage.
Yeah, he gets stuck up in the garage. He's all messed up. Then we go in for...
Well, the cat goes back to the apartment.
Yeah, he goes to the apartment again, finally. And dude calls it in as soon as he's there.
Well, because he hears them talking on the radio, like, oh, like, do it. And they're about to kill this lady. Like, smother her with a pillow, apparently.
No. That pillow was for him to shoot into to get rid of the noise, which would not be enough in that little tiny apartment.
Okay. I thought he was going to smother her.
No. That would have been smart.
Okay. But then, so they see the cat, because the cat had gotten in, and they see the collar, and they take it off, and they're like, oh my god, it's a bug, and he's like, the cat's bugged, and that's when Kelso knocks on the door, he's like, oh, I think you have my cat.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, bro. And it's like a whole thing, and this scene was actually rather good.
Yeah, and then Patty busts in, and is like, oh, you found our cat, no, and the guy's like, where's your wedding ring? And it's like, you're too young to be married, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and she, like, they're talking, and then her solution, like, when things start escalating, is to throw the cat on the guy.
Which is super smart. That is, anytime you're in trouble and you have a cat, throw the cat at the person. Because the cat will, no matter how nice or mean or whatever the cat is going to up whoever you throw it at.
Yeah, so just all those times that you're in trouble and you happen to be holding a cat, those many times in your life where that will happen.
Well, anytime you're feeling threatened, pick up a cat.
So many opportunities. So there's a struggle for the gun, and then my favorite part of the scene was when the Weasley guy was trying to escape with the money, and Patty, like, tackles him.
Yeah, Patty gets involved.
That part was amazing.
She is into it. And it seems like he's going to get away again, and DC goes outside and trips him.
And he goes over Tea Kettle down the stairs.
And all the money goes flying, so he's screwed. And, like, as soon as he gets up, one of the other FBI guys cuffs him.
He's like, oh, my money. And so, yeah, DC's a hero.
And all the papers, it's Patty and Ingrid are pouring through the newspapers. They see where Canoe got caught in the garage.
Yeah.
Which made no sense.
Because they would have gone back down afterwards.
In that kind of garage, you might not have been able to get out.
Yeah, maybe.
One of those one-piecers, that's a rough deal. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have. And they're just going through the whole thing. Oh, they got caught, blah, 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 blah. And then you hear the honk, and Gregory's outside.
But then...
Oh, no. Ingrid is now carpooling with Kelso.
Well, and this part was funny, because Gregory just, like, walks in. He's like, because he realizes, like, that she was doing the whole FBI thing and all this, and then he's like, oh, she's not a whore. And
he's like, oh, mother forgives you, and...
And so he walks over, and she kind of directs the walk to the other car where Kelso is, so he opens the door, and then he closes it, and he, like, looks down and sees Kelso, and she's like, oh, thanks, and blah, blah, blah.
He's in law enforcement.
And then he's, like, his face was very, like, bullwhip-esque, and, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, and she says, oh, he's a duck hunter, and the dude's like, oh, well, I hope you have a license.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And then they pull away, and then Canoe rolls up, hits Greg's car.
For, like, the second time, which is, like, for that Mercedes, like, he wouldn't have just driven away, but whatever.
And he's all jacked up still from the garage. His neck is all messed up. And he's, like, apologizing, and that's when Patty's like, oh.
Make yourself a big, weird sandwich and tell me all about it.
Yeah, where she's still friend-zoning him, but at least letting him back into her life. And the neighbor lady is going to kill her husband, and he runs away, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so out of all of these amazing scenes, what was your favorite part?
I had such a hard time with this.
Oh, I have like 3, so go ahead. What you got?
I have 4.
Oh, okay, so how about you? Okay, just go.
Okay, no, I'll do one, and you can do one.
Okay.
I'm going to have to say Patty in the FBI office is pretty good.
I didn't have that for any of mine. That's a pretty good scene, though.
Yeah, it's a really good scene. It's under the radar, but it's really good.
So my number 1 has got to be the neighbor getting his wife arrested towards the end. Like, the whole thing of him calling and like them picking her up, that I don't know, it's a really short scene, but that I think that was my favorite part.
It's pretty good. Number 2 for me is going to be Greg's duck.
See, and I didn't have that one either. I completely,
He's
that
so
one.
Mad. It's just so funny.
Yeah, that one is pretty good. So I think for my second one, I think I'm gonna go with like at the end, the last cat follow scene, but like just like the part where he had like the wet shoes and like he gets stuck in the garage and that whole sequence, like just that last little bit, I thought was pretty good.
So, and for me, number 3, which actually probably should have been number 2, is a scene that we didn't even really talk about. The part where Ingrid comes home is hilarious, where she's all pissed off and he's trying to direct the call.
Oh,
and she's like, I'm not getting out of my room. You guys get out of here. It's hilarious. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it's just, we skipped over it almost entirely, which is good. Watch this movie.
And then my last favorite scene... So really, it's like the last half an hour of the movie I just love. But so the end bit...
So I agree with that.
The end bit where they're fighting in the kitchen and she throws the cat and tackles the guy, like that whole scene, I like from the moment that like they find the bug on the cat to like where the guy trips down the stairs, that whole sequence... It should have been my number 2, I think. It's narrowly beaten out by the neighbors, just because they were my favorite part of this movie. Like,
fair enough.
But yeah, that whole sequence, the end sequence, I thought was really good.
And I had that in there too, but as a little jewel, I'm going to throw in the jeweler's scene. Because it's just hilarious. Her with her little German accent, and that whole thing is so stupid and so funny. I really like it.
That part is pretty funny. Yeah. I know. Well, especially she's like talking about the watch, and she's like, "Oh, it's not expensive."
Yeah, like it's like not. She sold it perfectly.
Yeah. No, that was. God, she was really good at that. She was really, really good.
She really was.
She's a good actress.
Yeah, at least in this movie.
Well, she's really good. We watched part of Parent Trap remember on our anniversary?
Oh, was that movie?
Yes.
And she plays both those kids?
Yes.
Oh,
actually, she might have a twin.
I can't wait to watch that movie.
But no, so that one, the original one, remember?
Which I really like.
The blonde girl with the short hair, that's her.
I was upset that we had to stop watching it. I can't wait to see that movie for this.
Yeah, that's her. But, so the only song they really had was the That Darn Cat theme song, which was okay. Like, it was just, whatever.
Whatever. Main characters, Patty and Kelso.
Yeah, Patty, I mean, we just said it. She's
precocious. She's hilarious. She's smart.
Spunky, smart.
Yeah.
Apparently super strong.
Is she sexy? I don't think so.
No,
right?
I don't think. But that's like not her character. Her character is like.
I know, but that's a weird thing to not have the main female lead.
Well, and I think.
And neither is Ingrid really, it's an interesting difference for one of these kind of movies.
I feel like a lot of these older movies, it's really interesting because they.
But the movie before this, they tried to half sell with that one lady being hot.
What was the movie before that?
Monkey's Uncle.
Oh, you meant the movie literally made before this, not our last movie. Yeah, but like...
But made by all the same people.
Okay.
That was like half of the point was the Annette Funicello being some kind of hottie.
Right. And that's a whole other thing. But like, a lot of these older Disney movies actually have really strong female characters.
Right, instead of lookers.
Which is just...
It works. This movie works.
No, I know, but it's crazy to me that people are just like, oh, like Disney doesn't do strong female characters, and like
that
they make all their women weak, and like the princesses, whatever, but this whole thing. But like a lot of these movies, like think about like Jodie Foster's character in Candleshoe,
think
like
about the Bullwhip Griffin lady's
that lady
2 years after this.
Yeah, and then Patty in this movie, and like.
And Ingrid is no.
Well, yeah, Ingrid
pushover.
was good too.
They definitely. I don't think that you can ever really pigeonhole a Disney movie. That's what I'm starting to learn.
That they're also different.
Yeah. Except for the ones like this that are kind of made by the same person that are kind of.
But they're still.
That they have the same style, but they're totally different.
The stories are all different, and like yeah. And Kelso is just like he was pretty good too. Like he
was great. I thought he played the straight man to the T. Like, he was really good.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed his character. Kind of a dorky, like, straight-edge detective, like...
Yeah.
And, the cat allergy thing is like, well, that makes sense. Kind of predictable, but, like, he did it... And they didn't overplay that too much. It came in when it was appropriate.
Right.
And then for villains, I mean, Dan and Iggy, the two thugs, I mean, they weren't super... they weren't the main focus of the movie, but they were still in it enough, I guess.
Yeah, but this was one of the rare movies that we've seen where it doesn't matter that they don't really have a villain.
I mean, they did have a villain, they did,
but they don't matter.
Because it was more about the cat and
the story.
Yeah. But they were still there, so they still were there. And
they were there throughout the movie.
And the scenes they were in were still good.
It's not like they shoehorned them in at the end. They were there from the very beginning to the very end, which we've talked about is very important to make a good movie.
Well, and their scenes were still good.
Okay, yeah, so I guess that makes sense. Even though they were in maybe like 10% of the movie, they were there from the beginning to end, and the parts they were in were good, and it made it make sense.
Yeah. No, they were pretty good, and both the actors were pretty good. Side characters, you've
Ingrid, Canoe, the neighbors, Greg. Greg is so great.
Creepy bullwhip.
Yeah, creepy bullwhip, like just angry, creepy bullwhip.
Ugh.
Ingrid, the aging, the kind of like aging out of being single, going into frigid territory. Canoe, the creepy little surfer dingus.
I hate him. And the neighbors, though. The neighbors stole the show. I keep saying it.
Yeah,
but
they do. They really do.
God, they were so good.
Every scene you're in, they're in. You're
They
cracking
kind of
up.
like reminded me of, what's that TV show with Archie Bunker and what's her face?
You haven't seen enough of All in the Family to say anything about that.
Well, isn't that kind of their dynamic?
Not even close.
No? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Never mind. What did you think about the cinematography?
This is great. I mean, this actually looks just like the Monkey's Uncle, which the Monkey's Uncle looked great.
Yeah.
The cinematography in this era was amazing.
It was pretty good for what it was, yeah.
For the era it was, I mean, all the outfits looked great. All the set design looked really good. From the gross apartment that the dudes were staying in to the super cool house that the girls lived in. Mm-hmm. And the super cool FBI office.
They did have a lot of really old houses, too, in this. Like, those houses were pretty sweet.
Yeah, this is a well-shot movie. It was well made.
Yeah, very 60s, it was good. What was your biggest surprise or disappointment?
Just how funny this movie was and how perfectly they balanced the wackadoodle with it just being a fun movie.
Yeah, no, I thought it was going to be like, oh, just another fun, like, candle shoot-esque, like, kind of like, oh, silly movie, but, like, I genuinely really liked this movie.
Yeah, so did I.
Like, I thought it was really entertaining, and I was interested in the story, and I liked it. And plus, I mean, it has a cat, it's about a cat, so for me, that's an immediate, like, bump up. But, yeah, the story we already talked about was good.
It's so unique, like, who came up with this? I guess whoever wrote the book.
Yeah, the detective cat or undercover cat. It was called Undercover Cat. That's what it was. Any final thoughts you want to add?
This movie's fantastic. It's fun. It's a wackadoodle. It's a hair too long, but that's fine.
Yeah. And that was I think my only biggest complaint is that it was a little bit long. Parts of it felt a little long, but that's of the time of what it was. But I think if it would have been a little bit shorter, it would have gotten a slightly higher rating for me.
Yeah, exactly. Same goes.
But all I know is I really want a 60s skirt pantsuit.
So with that, what is your rating, Kelly?
So I gave this movie a 79%.
Ooh.
It's a good movie, but it was a little long.
I gave it 80.
Oh, wow. We were, like, really close.
Yeah. So what do you think the Rotten Tomato score for this movie is?
So I actually think it's probably not going to be as high as us. I'm going to go with a 57%.
So the Rotten Tomato score for this movie is 94%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
71 with the people. But clearly, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
I honestly... I don't see anybody seeing this movie and being like, this movie sucks.
It was just so much fun.
Even now, this many years later, even if you showed it to like a 12-year-old kid, there's no way that they're not going to like it. Like, this is a good movie.
Yeah, no,
End of story.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie.
And to me, I think that Haley Mills and the Dean dude, the Kelso guy, they sell this movie. They make it because they're in 90% of it, and they just They kill it.
Yeah, she's really good. And I also can't wait to watch the original Parent Trap, by the way, because
yeah.
Well, and also actually even the new Parent Trap, the newer one, is really good too. But anyways, just saying, I love those movies. So not fingers crossed. I don't think we're gonna get that on this one.
Fingers crossed.
If we did, that would be insane. But whatever.
Let's see what we're about to get.
Okay.
What's your favorite part?
Dun, 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 that dun, cat. Okay.
Okay, we got number 324, so I don't think we got that.
No. So that's a new movie, very new movie.
Well, I wouldn't know about very
2010s.
New. Yeah.
Is it animated or live action?
It's animated.
Oh God, you made a really sad face. Animated 2010s?
Oh, I guess not 2010s. Just at the very end.
What do you mean just at the very end?
Of the aughts.
Like 2008, 2009, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember when Frozen came out. Is it Frozen?
No.
No, that was later.
I wouldn't have been sad.
Oh, you wouldn't have been sad. Is it like Cars 2?
No. I would have been excited for that.
Is it Planes 2?
No.
What is it?
It's number 324 from 2009. Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure.
Uh-oh.
Again.
Uh-oh.
Tinkerbell back to back to back.
It's not back to back. That was like 7 movies ago.
Yeah, but that's close enough. That's like our first sequel. It's our first double up. Is Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure.
Oh, and so is this the next Tinkerbell movie after that one, or was there one in between?
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
No, because I don't know. Or was there one in between the two of them? Whoops. So we just watched the entirety of Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure.
And it didn't come out in movie theaters, so thankfully we don't have to watch any more of the Tinkerbell movies.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah, we spent an hour and 25 minutes watching that movie, and yeah, probably good we don't have to do an episode on it because it's really not a great movie.
And it was a whoopsie doodle. So
yes.
Now we're gonna re-roll again, and we have number 305.
Oh, you already rolled. You're on it.
I'm ready to go.
305. So that's early 2000s.
I think this might be another mistake.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Because number 305 is something called College Road Trip.
I'm gonna Google that really quick. I don't have my phone.
Well, in the meantime, what do you think it's about?
A college road trip.
Kelly.
I guess I need to audit our list again.
Taking a page out of my playbook. Oh, no, it is. It totally is.
Why? What'd you see?
I just saw that it said Walt Disney right on top, right up front.
But it wasn't like a documentary or anything?
No, definitely not.
Oh, so you saw already what it's about.
I just saw the poster.
Oh,
okay.
Like, so I take it this is a live action movie.
It is.
What do you mean?
We'll just say it looks like it's going to be a college road trip.
Ugh, God, okay. Another live action movie?
Yep, but a newer live action
movie. Which means it's going to be like Shaggy Dog or G-Force.
I think it might be better than that.
So cryptic. This is why we don't look at them before. So we both be surprised.
We just don't like to do this.
So
I had to do it this time. Yeah,
because now apparently nothing can be trusted on our list.
Well, until we need to audit the list.
You know what? It's fine. They can't all be winners.
Yeah, they can't all be that darn cat.
It could be amazing though. It could be your new favorite movie. You could give it a 97%.
That's true. It could be.
You never know.
In the meantime, follow us on Facebook or Instagram at the Disney Movies.
Send us an email at thedisneymovieswiththehearts.
At thedisneymovies@gmail.com.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
You always used to correct me about that.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like, subscribe, etc.
Leave us a review. We love the reviews. At least I do.
I prefer you to just subscribe and listen to the show.
They're nice reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Enjoy. So, in the meantime, I'm David.
I'm Kelly.
And this has been At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
Bye! dogs barking outside.
Mm-hmm.
They must be barking at that darn cat.